All right, welcome today. We're happy that we can have our Veterans Day program here at Wilmington Christian Academy. This has been an annual tradition for a number of years, and it's always in a time when we can come aside and remember what this day is all about. I was listening this morning to the radio, and the announcer was talking about the origins of Veterans Day, and I was glad that he was doing that for the audience that was listening, because sometimes we come to these holidays throughout the year and we celebrate them, but we don't really think about what they mean and what they are. Now, we all know about Christmas and Easter, but other holidays come, and it's always good to take some time to really review what makes this day significant, what makes this time significant. And an opportunity to honor our veterans and those who serve in the military to protect us is an opportunity that we should take. And our world today, as it has been ever since the founding of our country in the 1700s, our world today is a place that is not very nice sometimes. And you have to have the military to defend us and to represent and protect our interest around the world. So whether it was in the 1770s or whether it's in the 2000s, the military is an integral part of the freedom that we have here in America. And so it's a good and a right thing that we start today and that we honor our veterans. We have some with us today, and we'll be honoring them a little bit later on. So just to sit back and enjoy, and as we come together to honor our veterans here on Veterans Day. Let's have a word of prayer, and then we'll get into our program. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this day you've given to us. Thank you for the country we live in, for the United States of America. We thank you that this is a place where freedom reigns all around the world. Countries from all around the globe look to us as the beacon of freedom. And Father, that is not an accident. You have allowed us to have that. You have ordained that, and you have allowed our country to have the freedom that we have. And we recognize today that we could not have the freedom, the nation we have today, without the men and women of our military who protect and defend our nation and our way of life, and even the very religious freedom that we have here to have a Christian school, to worship the Lord the way we want to in our churches. That's just not the case around the world, but it is here in America. And there have been, throughout the centuries, people who have sought to destroy that, to destroy us. And yet our military have stepped up. They have been the ones to defend us and to keep us free. And we thank you for them today, and just ask your blessings on this time as we honor them. In Christ's name, amen.
It is fitting for us to take our time now to pledge to the red, white, and blue that represents our country and the symbol of liberty it provides to all. Listen as the high school drama class performs the Reader's Theater, I Pledge Allegiance.
What do those words mean to you?
To me, they say thank you, America, for your strength, your courage, and our freedoms.
It's been a beacon to the world for over 200 years.
Of the United States of America,
whose bright stars are 50 states.
Each bearing its own stamp of individuality.
People over 300 million strong.
People who have come from all corners of the earth.
and to the republic for which it stands,
A land of laws
an ingenious system of checks and balances
that allows no man to become a tyrant and lets no group prevail if their power is not tempered with a real concern for the government.
A land where the right of the dissent and free speech are jealously guarded.
Where the ballot boxes are the sword and the people its wielders.
one nation, under God.
Yes, one nation. Yes, under one God. A land where freedom of worship is the cornerstone of her being. A land graced with temples and churches
Synagogues and altars.
that rise in profusion to embrace all religions of the world.
Indivisible.
A land forged with hot steel and raw courage.
Conformed forever by the awful crucible of war.
With liberty.
For a man in pursuit of an honest life will not be denied his chance.
Other citizens move freely within her vast borders, without hindrance or fear.
a land brimming with opportunity
Where freedom of choice is the guideline for all.
And justice.
The courts of our land are open to all. The wheels of justice grind for all causes, all people.
They look through every avenue for justice.
Every concern of the law. And they temper their reasoning with mercy.
For all.
Please, stand and join us in pledging allegiance to our great country and flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Romans 13 says, "Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Celebrating and thanking our veterans becomes a necessity as a way of giving honor to whom honor is due. The origins of honoring America's veterans dates back to 1921. Listen as the high school drama class explains the origins of Veterans Day.
In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. This site, on a hillside overlooking the Potomac River in the city of Washington, D.C., became a focal point of reverence for America's veterans.
Similar ceremonies occurred earlier in England and France, where an unknown soldier was buried in each nation's highest place of honor. In England, Westminster Abbey; in France, the Arc de Triomphe. These memorial gestures all took place on November 11th, giving universal recognition to the celebrated ending of World War I fighting at 11 a.m. On November 11th, 1918. The day became known as Armistice Day.
The first usage of the word Veterans Day was in Birmingham, Alabama. Raymond Wiggins, a World War II veteran, planned and organized National Veterans Day to honor all veterans, which included parades and other festivities. Later, this was now designated as Armistice Day.
On Memorial Day, 1958, two more unidentified American war dead were brought from overseas and entered in the plaza beside the unknown soldier of World War I. One was killed in World War II and the other in
symbolic of all Americans who gave their lives in all wars, an Army Honor Guard, the 3rd U.S. Infantry, the Old Guard, keeps day and night vigil. A law passed in 1968 changed the national commemoration of Veterans Day to the 4th Monday in October. It soon became apparent, however, that November 11th was a date of historic significance to many Americans. Therefore, in 1978, Congress returned the observance to its traditional date.
The focal point for official National Veterans Day ceremonies continue to be held at the Memorial Amphitheater built around the Tomb of the Unknown. At 11 a.m. on November 11th, a combined color guard representing all military services executes present arms at the tomb.
No soldier longs for war. In literature, war is personified as a dark and dangerous villain. It is used to wound, to separate, to tear into pieces. However, it is the wise and mature voice who recognizes that war is at times necessary to bring liberty and freedom. Patrick Henry is one of the wise voices famously known for his cry, "Give me liberty or give me death."
The battle, sir, is not. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. We have no election. If we were base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. But in submission and slavery, our chains are pushed. Their clanking may be heard on the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is in vain to insinuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. Is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps in from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course, but as for liberty or give me death.
Flag has continued to inspire many, from the groundwork of the American Revolution to the shields of freedom in our world today. Please, listen as Mr. Pope sings a tribute to this symbol of freedom.
Seems to say all hope is lost, gone away, but I know I'm not alone. By the she stands. There she waves, faithful friend, shimmering stars, westward wind, show the way. Carry me to the place she stands. stands. Just when you think it might be over, just when you think the fight is gone, someone will risk his life to raise her. There she stands. There she flies, clear blue sky reminds us with red of those that died, washed in white by the brave. In their strength she stands. When evil calls itself a martyr, when all your hopes come crashing down, someone will pull her from the rubble. There she stands. We've seen her flying torn and tattered. We've seen her stand the test of time. And through it all the fools have fallen. There she stands. By the dawn's early light, and through the fight she stands.
No more than 37 years after Patrick Henry demanded liberty at whatever means necessary, Francis Scott Key, during a time of war, passionately penned the words that have become so well known in the hearts and on the lips of every troop. Listen, as the high school drama class presents the history of the Star-Spangled Banner.
This is the flag that inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. This flag, which flew over Fort McHenry in Baltimore during the 1814 Battle at the Fort, is a 15-star, 15-stripe garrison flag made in 1813 and loosely woven so that it could fly on a 90-foot flagpole. This patriotic song, which inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner, was adopted by Congress as the U.S. national anthem in 1931. Several years before Congress made this decision, the song was popular and regulations for military bands required that it be played for all ceremonies.
He was a well-known 34-year-old Washington, D.C. lawyer poet. The British had captured Washington and taken William Beans, a physician, prisoner. They were holding him aboard ship in their fleet off the Baltimore shore. Friends of Beans had persuaded Key to negotiate his release. Key went out to the British fleet and succeeded in gaining Beans' release. But because the British planned to attack Baltimore at that Bombs, rockets, and shells at it. About 400 of them landing inside. He drafted the words of a poem on an envelope. The British fleet withdrew. The American chains were sent ashore. And he finished the poem and made a good copy of it in a Baltimore hotel the next day.
According to some accounts, he showed the poem to relatives of his wife in Baltimore, who had it printed neatly and distributed throughout the city on a handle entitled The Defense of Fort Commander. Within a couple of weeks, Baltimore newspapers published the poem. It gained instant popularity and was renamed the Star Spangled Banner. An actor sung it to a popular British tune at a public performance in Baltimore.
Only with the start of the Civil War did the Star Spangled Banner become a nationally popular song. During World War I, a drive began in Congress to make it the official anthem of America's armed forces. There were other contenders for the title, including America the Beautiful and Yankee Doodle. Maryland legislators and citizens were among the most active groups and individuals who pressed to get Francis Scott Key's words and accompanying English tune ratified into law as the country's first national anthem. This finally happened when President Hoover signed legislation on March 3, 1931. The anthem has 4 verses, each ending with the line, "O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." There is an intense sense of selflessness in the character of every veteran. Each troop recognizes the group effort that goes into preserving the rights of those who long for freedom. The flag that inspired Francis Scott Key to write our national anthem is the same symbol of inspiration that caused Harold Schultz to go to his grave without ever claiming fame as the soldiers pictured raising our great flag in Iwo Jima. Listen to his story.
This breaking news just in from the U.S. Marine Corps. The Corps announced today that one of the men pictured raising the flag on Iwo Jima had been misidentified. The Marine Corps has corrected the name to be Private Harold Schultz of California to the 6th name, rather than John Bradley of Wisconsin. Harold Schultz, who died in 1995, went to his grave without ever proclaiming his role.
The iconic picture, known around the world and reenacted in 2 monuments dedicated to the Marine Corps from its outset, was bathed in controversy. 2 photographers capturing 2 different flags being raised on Mount Suribachi, Buell and Pulitzer Prize-winning Rosenthal. Due to a series of unfortunate events for Buell, who snapped the first flag being raised, Rosenthal was in the right place at the right time to capture the now famous picture. President Roosevelt requested that the 3 surviving men, then Bradley, Gagnon, and Hayes, be part of a war bonds tour in the U.S. after their injuries were healed.
The significance of the image cannot be denied. Iwo Jima was an intricate construction of tunnels and artillery bunkers from which Japanese forces relentlessly bombarded Marines who had landed to take the island. After 4 days, victory was not in view. Lieutenant Colonel Chandler Johnson, commander of 2nd Battalion, 28th Marine Regiment, ordered Marine Captain Dave Severance, commander of Easy Company, 2nd Battalion, 28th Marines, to send a platoon to seize and occupy the crest of Mount Suribachi. First Lieutenant Harold G. Schreier volunteered to take a group of 40 men to ascend the hill. First Lieutenant George Wells handed Schreier a flag and said, "If you make it to the top, put this on it."
Schreier and his men, in a hail of enemy fire, climbed the hill and planted the flag. As that flag was silhouetted against the sky, the impact was immediately apparent. The Marines who saw the flag began cheering, whistling, and firing their weapons in celebration of taking the hill. Buell snapped several pictures of the flag, but lost his camera on the way down. The commander, seeing the reaction of his men, sent another, larger flag to the top of the hill. Rosenthal snapped the raising of the 2nd flag, and the rest is history.
Although a book was published, Flags of Our Fathers, in a subsequent movie by that name, John Bradley accepted the conclusion that he was not the Marine in the 2nd picture.
Although the Rosenthal image is significant and iconic, to Marines, it's not about the individuals, and never has been, Neller said in a statement about the photograph. Simply stated, our fighting spirit is captured in that frame, and it remains a symbol of the tremendous accomplishments of our corps. What they did together and what they represent remains most important. That doesn't change.
I've often felt that the types of Marines and service members who are the most worthy of honor are the ones who don't seek it. Harold epitomizes that, he said. On a day when everyone wants to step into the spotlight, the men who do their duties and go back to their lives. It's the most American thing anyone could do.
At this time, we're going to have the Armed Forces Medley. This is an opportunity for us to recognize any of those guests here today that have served or are serving in the U.S. military. So our quartet's going to sing, and when you hear your branch of the military, when your song is sung, we'd like for you to stand, and let's give them a round of applause as we sing the Armed Forces Medley. So, gentlemen.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes
the U.S. Army.
Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong, 2, 3, 4, wherever we go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles on the land as on the sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surface, storm, and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory to fight, to save, or fight and die. High Coast Guard, we are for you. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, where you roam, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live in fame, we're down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Whether on land, in air, or sea, we give our all for liberty, America. We pledge our lives to thee.
All right, if we could have all of those who have served, all the veterans, if you'll stand, we want to give you one more big round of applause. Thank you for joining us in our Veterans Day program today.
Letters from the Front Lines is our fictional collection of letters from men and women throughout U.S. history who have sacrificed for our country. Though the stories in each letter are made up, the names you will hear are relatives and friends of ours who fought in U.S. military. The middle school performance speech class presents Letters from the Front Lines.
Mom, she's wearing my shirt.
Sarah, it's my shirt.
The twins are fighting. No, you always take my stuff without my permission. Give it back. Mom, can you tell her to stay out of my room?
I'll come into your room every day if you take my stuff. I bought it last month. She's lying.
Oh no, I bought it with my birthday money from Grandma.
I thought you bought a t-shirt for your boyfriend with that money.
I did not, Julia. Don't go into my room again.
And what if I do? Girls, stop! You are always at each other's throats over stupid things. But she's wrong. Just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean you have to scream at them.
But she called me a liar.
Just because someone offends you doesn't mean you have to chew their head off. You two are old enough to handle this like decent human beings. There's enough conflict in our country today, and you two do not need to add to it by constantly arguing.
It's like you're fighting the Civil War all over again.
Dad does everything has to be a history reference.
You sound surprised that our dad is a nerd.
Nerd or not, he makes a good point. Your family, start acting like it.
Sarah and Brielle, your mother has a Zoom meeting with her office in just a few minutes. So this ridiculous preschool tantrum you are both throwing is over now. In fact, I know the best way to help you two start working together. Go up to the attic and start bringing the Christmas stuff downstairs.
Christmas? It's November.
The beginning of November. You cannot do Christmas yet.
Seriously, Dad? So not cool.
Nerd, is that what you called me earlier? I guess you just volunteered to help them. Maybe a little holly jolly will get you two to stop fighting over a silly shirt. A shirt my money bought, by the way.
Oh, really? Wow.
I hate the basement.
What are you, 5? It's not a Mason, what are you doing here?
I got you so good.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I heard Dad tell you to come up here, so I thought I had my own little holly jolly to your sisterly bonding errand.
How come we always get yelled at and yet you terrify your sisters and you never get in trouble? It's so not fair.
Mason, prove you're not a complete brat and help us take this Christmas stuff downstairs.
Ugh, this stuff always takes like 5 hours every year. Why don't we actually organize this stuff so it's easier on us?
Says the guy whose room looks like a tornado ran through it.
We probably should just trash half the stuff in here anyways. I mean, you can never find what you're looking for. I mean, half the stuff here has been here for like centuries. Oh wait, here's an ornament box.
Yeah, I found one too. And here's some of the outside decorations.
Along with a box of Mason's baby clothes? Good grief, why is there so much junk up here?
I'm pretty sure that desk has been back there since the American Revolution.
Okay, nerd, didn't realize Dad followed us up here.
Didn't Dad say that desks belonged to his grandpa?
Which would basically be the American Revolution.
Dad says it's his great
times infinity. Jinx!
Hey, what's that? Something sticking out of the side drawer. Whoa, this is really old.
I think it's a letter. It's pretty faded.
Dear Martha, I know you are probably worried sick about me. I'm sure everyone back home has heard all about Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, that's the Civil War.
All about Gettysburg in the newspapers by now. I have no doubt you've spent many hours pleading for my life before the throne of grace. You probably haven't stopped praying since you saw the first headline announcing that the Confederates had invaded Pennsylvania. Please don't worry, but I'm writing this to you as I sit in one of our many field hospitals. I fought hard during the Confederate attempts to take Little Round Top. From what I have heard, we were ultimately successful, but my division bore the brunt of the casualties that day. You would punch me if you could. I can hear your voice emphatically saying, Henry, you promised you wouldn't get hurt. My dear sister.
You hear that? Dear sister.
Be quiet.
Apparently, siblings were nicer to each other back in the Civil War.
Are you guys gonna let me finish? I promise I did my best, but some things are just out of my control. The slug in my shoulder being one of them. Don't be worried, just keep praying. The doctor said I was one of the lucky ones. I wish I was back home with you and the rest of the family instead of lying here in this hospital. Things there are so much more peaceful at home. Here it's nonstop fighting and gore. I miss you so much, Martha. I look forward to returning home and being able to ride our horses together again soon. Tell Mother and Father that I'm okay. Send my love. Take care of everyone. Sincerely, Henry.
Wow, that's so cool. I wonder if he made it home safely.
He did.
Oh, Dad, you scared us.
I came to see why the Christmas stuff wasn't on its way yet. Henry was your
Great times infinity.
Great-great-grandfather. I didn't know that letter was in that old desk. That's a cool part of our family's history.
Hey, my teacher said that there was an exhibit opening up downtown at the museum.
Yeah, my teacher said something about that too. It's Veterans Day on Thursday. Oh, Dad, could we give him this letter to add to the exhibit, please?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Why don't you kids all take it tomorrow? All right, now how about we get this Christmas stuff downstairs? It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Okay, don't tell Dad, but this is actually really cool. Our family's going to be in a museum. We're famous.
We are not famous. Great-grandpa Henry, he is famous.
You forgot a few greats.
Good morning, kids.
May I help you?
Our dad sent us to give this to you for the Veterans Day exhibit.
We found it in our attic.
It's from the Civil War.
Wow, this is incredible. We'd love to add it to our Letters from the Front Lines exhibit. Actually, why don't you kids follow me? I'll show you where we're going to put it. We have letters from American veterans sent to their loved ones from almost everywhere. Here's the 1800s section. We'll put your letter there.
Whoa.
Our brother likes history.
A lot.
So do I, young man. Take a minute to look at the exhibit. I'm going to show your letter to the team working on it.
This is amazing. This one's from the American Revolution.
What does it say?
April 12, 1777. Dear Mother, these past few weeks have been very hard on the battlefield. I have one patient that is very, very sick, but no one seems to know what it is. I'm really concerned since most of the other nurses, along with me, are not trained very well. So many have foreign illnesses that we do not even have a cure for. I'm scared because we do not have enough nurses or supplies to help. Many are dying on the battlefield with no one around. How terrible is it to spend your last few breaths alone? No family, no friends, just the sounds of the battlefield still going on around you. Hundreds are injured and still continue to fight. I'm inspired by their passion and courage to fight for their land, their families, their country, our country. We barely even have enough food to feed everyone in the camp, and I'm afraid that I won't come home to see you again. But whenever I feel scared or upset, I think what Father said before I left. Stay the course, and remember,
Your mother and I will always love you. We are proud of you. So whenever you worry for me, keep these words close to your heart. Whatever happens, know that I'm giving my all to stay the course. This new country of ours needs soldiers, but it also needs people like me, willing to do whatever it takes to keep these boys safe. All my love, your daughter, Alice.
So, are nurses veterans too?
It certainly sounds like Alice sacrificed a lot for her country. She deserves our honor and respect too.
Listen to this one.
June 3rd, 1864, Dear Ma and Pa, it is shaping up to be a long, hot summer here in Virginia. Ma, stop worrying, I am fine. The last week has been the most difficult week since I enlisted last year. My company has lost many men here, death is all around me, but it has never been so close as when I held my best friend Thomas in my arms as he died yesterday. It was almost my life instead of his. 1 foot closer, and he would have been holding me. So I want you to know that I love you both very much, and I'm going to make my country proud. I'm going to make you proud. And if I make it home, can you have a huge meal of your best cooking ready? The food ration are in short supply, and most of it tastes horrible. My company is on the move again tomorrow, and I need to pack my gear. I love you and miss you, praying we can all be together again soon. Sincerely, your son, Joshua.
Even at the same time Great Grandpa Henry did.
I wonder if they knew each other. Guys, these letters are from World War I. We're studying that in history class right now.
Mom, are you allowed to say? Please? Calm down, little one. Let me see it. September 16th, 1918. Dear Evelyn, this war has been an extremely scary place. Nothing like I expected it to be. I miss you very much, and it has been hard living without you these last few months. Many of our troops have died. French, American, British, all of us have lost too many good men. I hope I'll make it back to see you again when this is over. All I wish is that this war would end soon, and I can come back to our family. The trenches used to be so crowded, but now they feel so empty. I have learned it is best not to try to make friends, as it is very likely one of us will be gone the next day. The things that I have seen, I don't think I'll ever be able to recover from. It is difficult to stay strong in my faith when I am constantly surrounded by death. I have dug more trenches than I can count, and I never want to see another shovel for as long as I live. I guess I shouldn't complain so much. Though they may seem useless most of the time, they have saved many lives, including my own. I am sorry to seem so downhearted. One thing that keeps everybody happy is playing card games during our rest times. Pray for me, sweet Evelyn, and pray for the rest of the company. It is difficult here. Please tell the children I miss them. Lord willing, I will be home by Christmas. I love you so much, sweetheart. Give the kids my love. Forever yours, William.
I'm really glad these letters are in a Veterans Day exhibit. It would be so hard to read if we didn't know if William and the others made it home safely.
It's amazing what these men and women did for our country.
And we're not finished yet.
This is World War II. That was in Europe again, right?
Yep, against Japan in the Pacific.
This letter here was written by a soldier in the Pacific.
April 1945. To my dear girls. I don't have time to write very much. My unit is gearing up for another island fight. It is my hope that the quicker pace and urgency we are feeling is due to the end being in sight. We are headed towards an island called Okinawa today. The many months at sea are taking a toll, but the thought of coming home and hugging my sweet girls keeps me going. I trust you're taking care of your mother. She needs all the help she can get while I'm away. You both would love the warm weather out here in the Pacific Ocean. If it weren't for this war, some of these letters would be a wonderful place for our family to visit. There's the dinner bell. I need to get to the mess hall. Take care of each other. I love you both. I'll write more when we are through with the conflict at Okinawa. Love, Dad.
It says here he was later captured by the Japanese and spent time as a POW. Wow, I bet those girls were glad when Dad finally came home.
This says Korean War. I don't know anything about a war in Korea.
Well, it's also known as the Forgotten War because there's a lot of people who don't know much about it. I read a book about it this summer. One of the worst battles went as low as -54. -54.
I can barely handle regular 54.
This letter here talks about how cold it was.
September 20th, 1950. Dear Paul, we've taken back Seoul. It took a few months to regroup, but the capital is officially back in South Korean control. We've set up our new base camp, and I was able to reconnect with Billy Hamilton. Remember my pal Billy? We go way back to boot camp, even survived a few months in Germany together at the end of the last war. It's nice to have a veteran guy watching my back. There are so many green recruits in this Marine Division. It makes me feel like an old man. This weather doesn't help that feeling, though. It is colder than ever, and it's only September. It's so cold, all of our MCIs are frozen, but those Tootsie Rolls Ma sent in the last care package have been a real lifesaver. If you could scrounge up some more of those Tootsie Rolls, I would forever be grateful. With it being so cold, we struggle to sleep, or worse, wake up half frozen. So many of our guys are dealing with bad frostbite. I honestly think that's more of a dangerous enemy right now than China or North Korea. Man, I'd give anything to be back enjoying one of those hot summer days on the lake. Hot, balmy, and 100 degrees is just what I need right now. Oh, you won't believe who just became Sergeant Major of my battalion. Your old pal, Randy Smith. I don't know if he recognized my name or even realizes I'm one of the men in his new command, but it's nice to have a second familiar face. I hope all is well back home, and I hear the Yankees are back in the playoffs. Man, I hope they don't win the World Series again. Give my love to everyone back home. Your son, Eric.
That was the 50s. Sorry, Eric, but the Yankees probably did win that year.
We're almost finished. Only a few sections left.
Here's some letters from the Vietnam War.
Miss Terrell's husband fought in Vietnam. She showed us pictures of him one time in Sunday school.
Yeah, I remember that. It looked like he was completely surrounded by a jungle.
This letter here doesn't mention any jungle specifically, but it does say something about the weather being hot. Totally different from the last letter.
Mom, Dad, mailman's here.
I wonder if we'll have another letter from Zane. Let's go check.
Yes, it is from Zane. Oh, why does he always have to address it to Mom? Did he forget about his favorite brother?
Oh, be quiet. A letter from Mom is a letter for all of us. Now, come on, I want to see what it says.
July 27, 1969. Dear Mom, I heard we landed on the moon last week. Our squad was back getting a resupply when the artillery guys told us the news. I'm thankful for those guys and their howitzers. They sure have gotten us out of a lot of jams. It all feels a million miles away, like Pittsburgh sometimes. The days are hot and wet, the nights are dark and full of strange noises, and mostly sleepless. I've been in some tense situations, I won't lie. They call me a tunnel rat. I go into VC tunnels, disarming traps, looking for anything I can find before blowing them up. Not entirely what I thought I was getting into when I signed up to be an engineer, but it's an important job. Guys say you have to be crazy or brave to do it. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little of both. Just trying to do my part. The brigade had a big mission to the north, and I got a visit from a colonel buzzing in on his Huey, telling me that if I could ford a small river for the 3rd Battalion to pass through safely, he'd give me anything I wanted. I had to supervise building a pontoon bridge, clear some trees and bushes, and I only had 6 hours to get it done. I got my engineer squad together, guys from North Carolina, Texas, Iowa, and this one loudmouth from New York. Guys from all over, and we completed the mission just as the unit moved through. The colonel returned 2 days later and was true to his word. Anything I wanted. I think he figured I want some extra R&R or something, but I just wanted 2 things I hadn't had in forever: a glass of milk and some ice. And when he returned the next day and brought it, wow, it was the best thing I had ever tasted. I'll be home soon, just in time for my 21st birthday. I'll get to vote this time around. I try not to count the days and just focus on staying safe and getting a ticket home on a bird. It will be great to be back in good old USA with smiling, welcoming faces. I gotta go. We're heading back in an hour. Tell Dad I cherish every letter and look forward to them each week. I love you and Dad. Let Nora, Jimmy, Cassie, Judy, Claire, Mary, Dave, and Helly know I love them too. And I'll see them when I get home. Love, Zane.
Okay, not gonna lie, that sounded like a pretty cool job. Maybe I'll be an engineer for the military someday.
Would you write to your wonderful sisters while you're away?
Of course I would. Though, I miss being here with y'all. I mean, who would scare y'all to death when you're going to get Christmas stuff from the attic?
Oh, brother.
Have your kids enjoyed looking around the exhibit?
Yes, it's been so interesting.
We actually have one section left, and it's not ancient history. We're finally in the 2000s. I wonder if this is the conflict our science teacher was in.
Well, the U.S. has been a part of many conflicts in the 21st century. Our armed forces have been all over the world: Afghanistan, Haiti, Iraq, and even the Marshall Islands. But most Americans are only familiar with the wars in the Middle East.
Our cousin Beckett either went overseas in 2010 or 11.
Beckett was a Marine, but wasn't his best friend in the Navy? This letter here was written by someone in the Navy.
January 2005. Hey, baby girl. I'm sure you've heard about the boat that ran aground. It wasn't mine. I was in the same area as the USS San Francisco, but I'm fine. I know there was one casualty and several injuries. What a weird incident. They're saying a submarine that ran into a mountain. My submarine was performing surveillance on the Chinese and other navies in the region, watching for any mobilization that could indicate that they're preparing for action. Currently, we are on a brief stop on the island of Guam. It's nice to have some real food here on the island for a few days. Meals in the sub are terrible because we are down to eating cans of beans, stale bread, and powdered milk. I can't wait to get home to your delicious cooking. I will never take it for granted or make fun of that time you completely burnt the brownies ever again. I don't have a definite date or know exactly how long until it will be, but I do know this deployment is ending soon. There is more information about what I am doing, but I can't tell you because our mission is top secret. But when I am able to, I'll tell you all I can. Can't wait to be back on land, see the light of day, and breathe clean, fresh air with you. Love always, David.
Aw, that was so sweet. There are letters to and from all kinds of family members. Brothers, parents, friends, sweethearts. This is pretty incredible.
And our family's about to be added to it.
It is incredible, isn't it?
We are very lucky to have so many families share a small part of their history with us.
Thank you so much for reading through all these letters. All these wars that have impacted our history so much. It wasn't just the soldiers fighting. Their families back home had to sacrifice too.
Makes history a little more personal, doesn't it?
Yes, very much. And I'm glad there's a special day each year to remember and honor these men and women who fought for our freedoms. It's the least we can do to repay their sacrifices.
Well, you guys sure were gone a while. Have you been at the museum the whole time?
Yes, ma'am. It was so neat. There was this massive exhibit with tons of letters, and the director let us walk around and read all these letters. And remember that book I read this summer? And
Whoa there. Stop and take a breath every now and then. I'm glad you all had such a good time.
It was really neat, Dad. And I don't like history as much as Mason does.
No one likes history as much as Mason does.
It made me think, so many people left their families and their homes to fight for our country and to fight for freedom. It seems like it's disrespectful to their service to spend all of my time fighting with my siblings. All the time.
I was thinking the same thing. There were so many letters from siblings who could only communicate every few months waiting for the mail to come in, never knowing if they would actually see their brother or sister again. My guess is they probably weren't fighting over a shirt.
Well, it was an eventful trip, wasn't it? I guess we all have a little extra reason to be more thankful for our veterans today.
And just think, all of this started with your dear old dad forcing you to get the Christmas stuff out early.
Oh, Dad.
From Patrick Henry's willful entrance into war to the selflessness of the Marine at Iwo Jima, it is imperative that we recognize the sacrifice our troops make. Beth Chapman continues this sentiment, honoring the human shields who shield the country from oppression. She calls on the civilians to recognize and honor. Listen to this excerpt from her speech, Stand Up for America.
Throughout the course of history, this country has remained free because of brave men and women who hated war. However, they laid down their lives so that we may live in freedom. After all, what greater love hath no man that he lay down his life for his friend, or in this case, a country? We must give our military honor and acknowledgement and not let their lives be in vain. If you want to see true human shields, walk through the Arlington Cemetery. There lie true human shields, heroes, and the brave Americans who didn't get on television and talk about being human shields. They were human shields. I thank God tonight for freedom, for those who bought and paid for it with their lives in the past, those who will protect it in the present and defend it in the future. America has remained silent for too long. God-fearing people have remained silent for too long. We must lift our voices, united in a humble prayer to God for guidance, the strength, and the courage to sustain us throughout whatever the future may hold. May God bless America, land of the free, home of the brave, and the greatest country on the face of this earth.
All right, we want to thank you for coming and enjoying our program today, especially our special guest. I want us to give our veterans a round of applause one more time for joining us today. It's always an honor to have you here on campus. I do want to recognize the work of our students today for all of our instrumentalists, the band program instrumentalists. Let's give them a hand. And our vocalists, high school choir and others, let's give them a hand. Middle school speech department, let's give them, very good. And the drama class from the high school, let's give them a round of applause. And then our directors of the technical crew, let's give them a hand today. It takes a lot of people and a lot of teamwork to put together a program like this today, and it's an annual event for us that we just thoroughly enjoy. So at this time, we'll have a word of prayer, and then we'll be dismissed. High school, if you'll stay in place, Mr. Tucker has some announcements for you, but we'll have a word of prayer, and then we'll dismiss. And once again, thank you for joining us today. Let's pray. Father, thank you for your kindness. It's been good to take a few moments to come aside and just honor those who are serving and have served in our military. Thank you for all the work that was put into the program today. Thank you for the talent that our students have and for the dedication of our directors and those that work with them. And Father, this time we just give it to you and just and dedicate it to you as an honor to the talent that you've given to our students, that we can use it in this way. We ask your blessings on today, especially on those who have joined us as our guests and the students as well. And we thank you for your kindness. In Christ's name, amen. Have a good day. You are dismissed, high school, if you'll stay in place.